The Nationals have officially wrapped up their road trip, but more importantly, this Nats offense has gone quiet. We'll discuss that and why that's happening after this.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, I'm your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as the show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, whatever makes you happy. That is what will make me happy. So later on in today's show, the Blue Jays are coming to town. And of course, it is Star Wars weekend as well. So we're going to have a little bit of fun, discuss that series, what's going to be happening as Patrick Corbin is on the bump tonight. We'll have that preview for you in the third segment of today's show. And a new staple of Locked On Nationals. Every Friday, there will be a Nationals prospect stock report. It will not be catching you up on the team performances. It will be individual performances, just like the Nationals stock report on Mondays, except this will be the prospect report on Fridays. That is where you'll find your latest individual performances, whose stock is up, whose stock is down. I'll have 5 prospects for you in that second segment of today's show. Now, let's talk about this, because the Nationals, they just wrapped up a relatively successful road trip, I guess you could say. But with all that said, though, the Nationals, their offense has gone quiet. What's going on? Before that, from brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive with all the parts you need at the price you want. It's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guarantee fit only available to U.S. customers. Again, that is eBay Motors. So, guys, the Nationals, I think they needed some eBay Motors over the last few games here because the Nationals offense went quiet. They were going up against the Texas Rangers. And again, going into this season, going into the series, I always thought that this was going to be one of the tougher schedules. You're going up against a very good team with the Texas Rangers, a very stacked offensive lineup. And again, when you go against a team like the Rangers, again, coming off a World Series, they've been struggling early on, but still, they're no team to just blow past. This is a very good lineup. This is a very good offensive team. And really, 1 through 9, you're going to have to worry a lot about them and every which way. But this Nationals offense just went completely quiet. And I think if you were to kind of put 2 and 2 together, the reason why this offense went completely quiet, it's pretty easy. CJ Abrams went quiet. He has been the guy who has been the motor of this Nationals offense so far in 2024. And I think at this point, it's safe to say this Nationals offense will go as far as CJ Abrams' production goes. He's the one who's going to have to start this thing off. And again, this is a lot of pressure to put on a 23-year-old. CJ Abrams, while he was still good this series, didn't have his best series. Wasn't the one that he had against the Marlins. Wasn't what he did against the Dodgers. Wasn't what he did against the Astros. But what he did this series just wasn't simply enough for this team. And again, let me reiterate, this is not CJ Abrams' fault. This is just the fact of the matter. This offense will go as far as CJ Abrams goes, as far as Jesse Winker goes, someone who's kind of been a little bit cold lately. Keibert Ruiz, while he has had some ups, not really though. This offense is kind of broken. And you know, as the Nationals have kind of put up a lot better numbers so far this season, in my opinion, I think it's a little bit inflated for what it'll actually be when we're through 50 to 60, 70, 80 games, maybe midway through July. This offense will look a lot different. It's going to be better, but also in the same day, it's not going to be all that great. This Nationals offense right now is built off of one guy. It's CJ Abrams. It was Jesse Winker as well, what he was doing the first month of the season. He's kind of slowed down a little bit. Lane Thomas, he'll be coming back in the fold hopefully soon here, but still the slow start that he's gotten off to, and now he's going to have to come back from a knee injury. He could also be kind of looking for a down season at this point. Joey Gallo is Joey Gallo. Joey Meneses not coming up with big hits in big situations anymore. This Nationals team It's built for success, sure. But that success rides on CJ Abrams. And that is an unfortunate thing if you're a 23-year-old shortstop going to his second full season in the major leagues. That's a very unfortunate thing. Think of the pressure that relies on his shoulders. Think of the pressure that is. So at this point, you can't go out there and try to win ball games with CJ Abrams, your young 23-year-old superstar shortstop. This guy is still a puppy. He still has to get potty trained. He still has to do all the different things to get ready to be a big league pro for 162 games. Because one thing is for sure is that when CJ Abrams is on, as we've seen it, he's on. But if he's going to be the guy to catapult this offense for the entire season and try to get this club over 500, I just don't think that's doable. Because again, over these 3 games in Texas, the Nationals only had 12 hits. 12. That's not going to produce in today's game. In today's game, and also, by the way, only 2 runs. It's not good enough. This Nationals offense is not good enough to go out there every day and just put up 12 hits over the course of 3 games and only 2 runs. It's not going to win you baseball games in 2024. And David Martinez knows that. They were doing pretty damn well against the Miami Marlins, and again, against a pretty poor team there as well, I might add. But still, you took 4 games in a row against a team that you only won 2 games against just last year in 2023. So it's going to take some time for this offense to gel. And more importantly, it's going to take some time to have some other pieces come into the fold, like a James Wood, impact this lineup a little bit. Have Lane Thomas come back and get healthy. Get Keibert Ruiz back on the right track and have him hit bolts. It's just not happening at this point. And I think that is probably the most frustrating part of this is that, again, you have this 23-year-old shortstop who is, in my opinion, a superstar with CJ Abrams, but it's just not clicking right now. And you can't have all this pressure put on him because you might ask, well, what happens? Yesterday happens. You don't really get all too much production. You don't get the best offensive workload out there. You don't get any run support for a young pitcher like Mitchell Parker. And when you lose a game 6-0, when you give up 3 runs in the second inning, it's just an unfortunate thing because, again, Mitchell Parker going into his first few starts up in the major leagues. And again, you just cannot have that happen. As they hit him around a little bit in that second inning, gave up those 3 earned runs early on. It just wasn't the day for Mitchell Parker and, of course, this Nationals offense. But, there were, I guess, some positives to the series, maybe. The Nationals, they had their chances to go over 500. They did not. They've had their chances to kind of get over that clip. They had chances with runners in scoring position at points in the series. They just could not get the job done. And looking at yesterday's loss, Matt Barnes came in, was not good. 3 earned runs, 3 hits, had a walk, had a couple strikeouts as well in there. But even then, even before that, Jordan Weems comes in, an inning pitch. Listen, this Nationals team, again, we've talked about it all year long. It's not built for right now. This is not a team that is ready to win a World Series or a division title or hell, even a wild card game at this point. This team, it's going to take some time to gel. It's going to take some time to develop. And again, when you have guys in the middle of your lineup, whether it be Luis Garcia going 1 for 4 with a couple strikeouts, whether it's Jesse Winker going 0 for 4, whether it's Keibert Ruiz going 0 for 4, this Nationals team was not good yesterday. It was not good in this series if you're talking about offensive production. Only 4 hits in yesterday's ball game, and again, going up against Nathan Eovaldi, who is a stud, in my opinion. I think he is one of the most underrated pitchers in all of baseball. He is filthy, and when it matters most, he puts his A game up to the plate and always hits a home run. So we'll see what the Nationals can do moving forward, but if you're talking about offensive production, it was not good enough. We'll discuss a little bit more about this Nationals offense. Can they bounce back against Yusei Kikuchi and the Toronto Blue Jays tonight? We'll discuss that a little bit later on, but now let me tell you guys about our good friends over at eBay Motors. And guys, when we talk about eBay Motors, you need to know that passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the price you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Again, that is ebaymotors.com. Now we get back into it, as we have a new staple on this Locked On Nationals show, and that is your Nationals Prospect Stock Report. This is where you'll be getting all your Nationals prospect information: who has been hot, who has been not, whose stock is up, whose stock is down. I'll start it off with Robert Hassel III, a.k.a. Bobby Barrels. And before we kind of get into this, let me just kind of pause the stock report real quick and just kind of discuss Robert Hassel real quick. The numbers that he is putting up right now in the minors is what we expected. This is the Robert Hassel that the Nationals, when they traded for him from the San Diego Padres, this is what they expected. A former top prospect in the organization, one of the better prospects in Major League Baseball back in 2022, Robert Hassel III, this is the kind of production that the Nationals expected from him. So far this season, he's batting over 300. He's got an OPS in the 800s. Looking back at his old self when he was with the Padres, if you aren't familiar with him, in 2022, he broke his hamate bone. Last year was not 100% healthy and also had a couple dinger-up injuries. It just wasn't really himself. He was never truly himself. This spring training, he looked really good up in the majors, had a little injury concern there as well, but now he's healthy, and you're starting to see him and all the good things that come from this. Over Robert Hassel's last 10 games, again, let me reiterate, his stock is up. I don't know if I ever said that, but his stock is certainly up. Over his last 10 games, he is batting .417 with a .512 on-base percentage and a .639 slugging. He is getting on base right now over his last 10 games at a rate of 50%, and really over that, 51%. Robert Hassel has been unbelievable so far to start this season. And again, I really probably shouldn't even say unbelievable, because it is very believable. This is a very good prospect. This is someone the Nationals, when they traded for him, they expected this kind of production. And again, if you talk with people within the Nationals organization, the way that they rave about him, they still expect this sort of production from him. Now you're starting to see it. He is healthy. He's in AA Harrisburg alongside Dylan Cruz. He's going to be one of those guys who could get the call up to AAA relatively soon. He's been in the organization for a while now. He's been in the minors for a little bit of time. There is a lot to be happy about when it comes to Robert Hassel. And again, I've always kind of compared Robert Hassel to a little bit of a Jason Worth type. I don't know if he's going to have that power up at this point. He hasn't really been showing it. But so far this season, and again, over the last 10 games, he's got 4 extra base hits mixed in with 2 home runs, a couple of just the other day. Robert Hassel is starting to turn it on. And if he is to turn it around for this Nationals team and the organization, it makes a massive difference in every single category about what this team does down the road. You already have James Wood. You've got Dylan Cruz. If you can get Robert Hassel as well, and all of these guys are up in the majors within a season, good luck in a East. I can tell you that. Stock down. 4, former first-round pick as well, Jackson Rutledge. 25 years old. The time is now. The time is now for Jackson Rutledge to develop. You could make the case that he is ready for the majors. I've made that case, but still. When you have a 1.938 whip so far in 24 innings pitched, you have, or in 2024, I mean, not 24 innings pitched. My apologies there. 16 innings, you've given up 16 hits and 15 earned runs. You're walking a lot of guys. Your strikeout rate isn't that high, and you're not pounding the strike zone. This is why Jackson Rutledge, in my opinion, will never be a major league starter. If it's not going to click right now, which it hasn't, it's probably not going to click in a few years from now either. Again, when you are 25 years old and a first-round pick, and I'm not taking a sledgehammer out on this, Jackson Rutledge could still be a fine major league pitcher. But at this point, the way that he has struggled, the way that he has not been able to stay consistent whatsoever throughout his career, it's at this point the ship has sailed. You got to kind of accept that role at this point. You have to kind of accept that, yeah, he's probably not going to work out long-term, but it was a fun ride while it lasted. A lot of people were high on him. At this point, it's just not looking like it's going to be a bright future for Jackson Rutledge. Maybe he comes up, maybe he fixes it around, because last year he did look good in a few major league starts, but there was some luck involved in there as he wasn't really having all the lofty numbers that you'd expect. Another big turn in the organization. You stock up for second-round pick, Dillon Lyall. Dillon Lyall, we've talked about him from last year. He was the Nationals' kind of breakout prospect. A lot of people gave him national recognition. I remember JJ Cooper wrote up about him. If you're not aware from him, he's from Baseball America, one of the main prospect beat writers there. Dillon Lyall, so far in high A Wilmington, he started off very slow. Over his last 7 games, because we try to make this a little bit more recent, not just over the course of the season, but over his last 7 games, Dillon Lyall is batting .360, has a .448 on-base percentage, has a .520 slug, and a .968 OPS. He's only got 1 strikeout. He's got 3 walks. He's got 3 extra base hits and 4 RBIs in that time frame as well. Similar to Robert Hassel, Dillon Lyall has a lot lower expectations, but this is still a very toolsy kind of guy that the Nationals are very high on. A Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year when he was drafted out of high school in the same draft as Brady House. He was there in the 2nd round. Brady House, the 1st-round pick. Dillon Lyall has been very impressive so far. In 2022, he was out for the entire season with Tommy John surgery. In 2021, when he was drafted, he was decent down at rookie ball, but still nothing all too impressive. Still, last year was his breakout season. He came onto the scene. He killed the ball in Fredericksburg, went to Wilmington, struggled a little bit there. But as we all kind of know from James Wood and Brady House time there, that is a very tough yard to hit for power. It's a long yard. It's meant for pitchers. And that's when you kind of see pitchers kind of dominate. At this point, though, Dillon Lyall has been putting up very good numbers if you're talking about Wilmington Blue Rocks and the way that hitters perform there. So Dillon Lyall is another guy to watch moving forward. And again, if you have someone like of his caliber develop down the line, can be that extra outfielder, can maybe play in be a starting left fielder for this team someday. That is a huge necessity. And again, you might be asking yourself, well, we have a lot of outfielding prospects. What are we going to do with them? It's the best problem to have in Major League Baseball. You can never have enough prospects. As you see now with the Baltimore Orioles, when you do that, if you have extra prospects that are maybe clogged, guess what? You go trade for Corbin Burns. You go trade for that stud pitcher. You go trade for that extra arm, for that extra closer that you need. That's what it does. You can never have too many. And some people may say, well, we already have a shortstop. Why do we need a shortstop in the draft? Just for instance, you can never have enough. And also, drafting shortstops, always a smart thing in my opinion. They're the best athletes on the field. You can probably put them anywhere in the outfield or even in the infield, and they'll likely thrive. So that's my little TED talk there about the draft. But now, stock down for another guy, left-handed pitcher DJ Herms. DJ Herms is the wild child here. I think his stuff is nasty. I believe that he is one of the nastiest pitchers in this Nationals farm system. I think he will make an impact in the majors at some point this season, likely down in August, maybe September, maybe earlier on, but it will not be as a starter. It will be as a reliever. Right now, he's going as a starting pitcher. And his last start, which I believe was yesterday, he went 2/3 of an inning with 3 hits, 4 walks, 0 Ks, and his ERA is way inflated at this point. DJ Herms has the stuff, man. But I think the Nationals just have to kind of pull the plug on him being a starter. That's not what he is. That's not what he's going to be when he gets up into the majors. This is going to be someone who will come in and kind of be your lefty specialist. He's got nasty stuff. Again, over from Lindsey Crosby from Locked On MLB Prospects. He said it himself. He's got the nastiest changeup in minor league baseball, and we've seen that over the time. We saw that during spring training, and most importantly, We've seen it this season as well. But he's got command issues. And again, the command issues won't go away in the bullpen, but if you're in a shorter time frame, you just got to hone in on a few batters there. Maybe that'll kind of focus him in and kind of have him get to what he wants, because so far it's been a little bit tough. Stock up. This is a prospect that maybe not so many people have heard of. Jack Dunn, the 2019 20th round pick out of Northwestern. And again, there is a Rochester Red Wings fan who continues to tag me in tweets. I don't have his Twitter up right now, but if you're listening out there, just know I've been seeing those tweets. I've noticed Jack Dunn. He's here. He's in the stock report. So far in 2024, he's got more walks and strikeouts. He's hitting well. He's getting on base. And also, what the Nationals love, he's got position flexibility. He's listed as a third baseman, but this is someone who can play in the outfield as well. He can likely play a little bit of second base. He can play in the corners. This could be someone where you have him get called up at some point this season. I'm not saying he's going to make an impact in the majors, but he's putting up really good numbers. He can steal some bases. He's got position flexibility. Maybe he's your Jake Alou. Maybe he's that guy who kind of comes up out of nowhere, makes a little bit of an impact on this roster, and does well. Because again, this guy is putting up good numbers, and I can't just ignore it. I can't just go out there. And again, he was putting up decent numbers last year. I believe he ended last year with a 773 OPS, and he was healthy. But now in AAA, batting in the 7th slot, he's been looking pretty damn good. So shout out to Jack Dunn, and shout out to the Rochester Red Wings fan who keeps on tagging me in those tweets. Keep on tagging them in my tweets. I will continue to notice Jack Dunn. So he's officially on my radar, and thank you for that. If you're out there, please shoot me another DM, shoot me a tweet, whatever it is, because I've noticed it, and you're right, he's damn good. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Now, let's preview this Blue Jays series, but before that, let me tell you guys about our friends at PrizePicks. And of course, spring training is over and baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your PrizePicks entries, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your PrizePicks entry today. Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. And of course, PrizePicks has something for every sports fan, from baseball and basketball to League of Legends and everything in between. You can pick LeBron, Shohei Ohtani, Connor McDavid, and Jude Bellingham, all in the same entry. And PrizePicks now offers Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits in your account for this basketball season. So of course, all you have to do, guys, is download the app today. Again, that is PrizePicks. Download PrizePicks. And all you have to do is use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that is code LOCKEDONMLB. Now, let me tell you guys about some of the best games in the world, and that is our friends over at Monopoly Go. And of course, game is off. We got to pause here to talk more about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that. There's just so much good stuff in this game. Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock, and there's so much to get. Unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete album for big prizes. Cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with. Hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go, so get off the bench and go download it now, free on Google Play or the App Store. And of course, game on. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So let's preview game one tonight. Yusei Kikuchi against Patrick Corbin, left-handed pitching matchup. If Lane Thomas was in the lineup today, you know what I would do? I'd probably sprinkle a little bit of money for him to hit a home run. But more importantly, CJ Abrams, the way that he has been slugging against left-handed pitching, I would not be surprised to see that guy, number 5, the future star of this Washington Nationals. Not the future star. He is the star and the superstar of this Washington Nationals team. I'm going to predict, go out on a limb, he will hit a home run there. Second deck tonight. I'm calling it. CJ Abrams, you're a superstar. If you are what you say you are, then have no fear. The crowd is here. If you know, you know. But that was terrible. Kevin Gosman, Vince Jake Irvin, game 2 on Saturday. That will be the rubber matchup that I think a lot of people will be looking forward to. And of course, I believe that is May the 4th. So that should be a pretty damn good day. If you're out there, it'll be Kyle Finnegan bobblehead day as well. Tonight is going to be fireworks night at the park. I think there'll be more than fireworks there. It'll be a fun night. But then on Sunday, you got your ace, Mackenzie Gore, against TBD at this point. It might be a bullpen game if it lines up that way for the Blue Jays, but we'll just have to see. Maybe they call up someone. Who knows at this point? I'm not a Blue Jays expert. I don't really get to watch them all too much. I watch the Nationals a lot, obviously. I try to watch the Orioles. I try to watch the Braves, the Mets, and the teams in the NL East. But the Blue Jays, it's always fun getting an interleague matchup. I love it. I love going against the AL, and I love going against the AL East as well with that historic division. So going up against this team tonight, all the way through the weekend, maybe the Nationals can stay hot, and maybe by Sunday we're talking about a team that is above 500. So you can get through this tonight. If Patrick Corbin, just go 5 innings, man. Go 5 innings, 3, no more than 4 runs. That's all we ask. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And guys, you enjoy the weekend. I will catch you on the other side. Have a good one.